Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the digital classroom with Holy Heart Schools. Today, we are going to continue with our chapter Denudation. And in today's video, we are going to learn about wind as an agent of denudation. Now, students, please open up your chapter number 10, page number 74, topic Work of Wind. But before we start with the today's topic, let's have a look at some new words that we will be learning in this topic. Number 1, denudation, leveling down of the earth's elevated features. Number 2, velocity, the speed of something in a given direction. Number 3, deflation, the process of removing, lifting and blowing away dry and loose particles of sand and dust by wind. Number 4, suspension. Suspension is a type of wind erosion that involves the movement of dirt and dust particles through the wind. Number 5, saltation, the transport of hard particles over an uneven surface in a turbulent flow of air or water. Number 6, traction. Traction is a geological process whereby a current transports larger, heavier rocks by rolling or sliding them along the bottom. Number 7, loess, the fine dust particles that are deposited in the big masses or sheets. Number 8, sand dunes, heaps of sand. And at last we have barchans, a crescent shaped shifting sand dune. Now students, before we start with the today's topic, let's have a brief about this topic. Wind is an invisible form of air moving from the areas of high pressure to the areas of low pressure and is also the third agent of gradation. The action of wind as an agent of gradation is most widespread in the places like deserts because of the dryness and lack of vegetation in these places. Wind erosion is different from river and glacial erosion because it can move sediments uphill as well as downhill. Now here the velocity of wind plays a very important role in the erosional work. The higher the velocity of wind, the greater is the erosional power of the wind. Wind does erosion, transportation and deposition similarly to the other agents of gradation. The wind has an effect on rock as it is a physical force that wears away the rock particles over a long period of time. Erosion occurs through the process of deflation and abrasion. In deflation, the wind blows away the sand particles and dust leaving behind the surface of the coarse material. And in abrasion, wind carries sand particles and drives them with the force against objects in its path, which creates a friction between the sand particles, thereby causing erosion. As the wind blows from different directions, landforms of irregular shapes develop. In this case, sand particles are carried along by the wind close to the ground and hence the rock gets eroded. For example, mushroom rock which has a narrow trunk and broad umbrella shaped top. Now students, let's start with the reading of the topic today. Work of wind. The work of wind as an agent of denudation means lowering down of the earth's elevated features is not as effective as that of rivers, glaciers or sea waves in the evolution and development of the major landforms. It is generally associated with arid means dry, and semi-arid environments. It is not active in the cold deserts as the surface may be hard or covered with ice sheets. The velocity of the wind means the speed of the wind is of primary importance in the erosional work. The work of wind as an agent of denudation is mostly effective where there is less obstruction in the path of wind. The higher the velocity of wind, the greater is the erosional power of the wind. The wind erodes more rapidly if it blows constantly in the same direction and if it faces less obstruction. The strong winds can pick up and carry dust, sand and even gravel. Now gravel here means pebbles. The loose rock material carried by the wind acts as a tool in wearing down of hard rocks, and the best example for this is the mushroom rock. Wind erosion is also assisted by the mechanical weathering. The wind has an effect on the rock as it is a physical force that wears away rock particles, particularly over the long period of time. The effect of the wind on the land surface is that of a sandpaper. Sandpaper is a material that is used to remove material from the surface or to make the surface smoother. The particles of the sand and quartz carried by the wind polish the surface of the rocks. The erosional work of the wind is at its maximum above the level of the ground, and this complete process is known as abrasion. Near the ground, the work is retarded, means slowed down or stopped due to the friction with the surface, and after some height, the wind is unable to carry sand and dust any further. Now, friction here is an action of an object rubbing against each other. Unlike rivers and glaciers, the wind erodes the rock from all the sides due to its changing direction. Because in this case, the sand particles are carried along by the wind close to the ground, and hence the rocks get eroded. Now the next one we have deflation. The process of removing, lifting and blowing away dry and loose particles of sand and dust by the wind is called deflation. It is derived from the word deflatus, meaning blowing away. And this all process we have already discussed before. In the layman language, the particles which are loosened by weathering and are blown by wind, the process is known as deflation. Continuous deflation can remove most of the loose material, and thus depression or hollows are formed. Since deflation can remove mostly fine particles, larger particles such as gravel are left over the surface. Now next we are going to start up with the transportation work of the wind. Wind erosion occurs when wind pick up and move small particles of soil. As the wind speed increases, the amount of soil picked up off airfield may easily double or even triple. For instance, if a 20 mph wind increases to 30 mph, the rate of the erosion triples. There are three distinct types of wind erosion: creep, saltation and suspension. Laboratory studies have shown that more than half of all the soil eroded by the wind is moved by saltation, with the remainder about equally divided between suspension and surface creep. Wind erosion typically begins at the ground level as the wind causes soil particles to roll or creep over the ground particles or slide in almost continuous contact with the soil surface. Creep erosion is an extremely slow process and it's difficult to see without lot of time and measurements. Now the next transportational work includes saltation. When moving soil particles in the hopping or bouncing method is called saltation. With each bounce, the grains typically reach the height of less than 2 inches about the surface and move horizontally about 2 to 4 inches. The impact of the particles falling back to the earth dislodges additional soil. Last but not the least, we have suspension. Fine particles less than 0.1 millimeter in size are moved parallel to the surface and upward into the atmosphere by the strong winds. These particles can be carried high into the atmosphere, returning to the earth only when the wind subsides, or they are carried downward with precipitation. These suspended particles can travel hundreds of miles, and this can be seen most dramatically during the dust storm. Now students, let's come back to our reading. Transportational work of the wind. The wind can transport the material on and above the ground surface. The finer materials are transported to a greater distance in one step, while a coarse material are transported in the stages by rolling or jumping. The wind can transport material through suspension, saltation, and traction. Now here, suspension is a type of wind erosion that involves the movement of dirt and dust particles through the wind. Saltation is the transport of hard particles over an uneven surface in a turbulent flow of air or water. And traction is a geological process whereby a current transports larger, heavier rocks by rolling or sliding them along the bottom. Fine particles of the dust kept in suspension by the upward moving air, and this can be carried to the greater distance. And this type of suspension we can see during the dust storms, as we have already discussed. Slightly bigger particles are transported through bouncing, leaping, or jumping. This mechanism of wind transport is called saltation. When the material touches the ground and moves forward without saltation, it is called traction. Now next we are going to start up with the depositional work of the wind. Wind erosion is different from river and glacial erosion because it can move sediments uphill and downhill. The fine dust particles are deposited in the big masses or sheet known as loess, while the coarse particles are deposited in the form of hills, which are also known as sand dunes. Every time a strong wind blows in this region, the shape and the position of the sand dune changes. In the layman language, sand dunes means the hill of sand. When the carrying capacity of sand-laden wind is reduced due to the reduction of its speed, it deposits its material whenever some obstacle comes in its way. The obstacle may be a bush, a rise in the ground, a boulder, a house, or even a skeleton of the dead camel. The dune has a long and gentle windward slope and much steeper leeward slope. The height of the sand dunes varies from few meter to about 150 meter. In some deserts, they have been noticed as high as 300 meters. Sand dunes have the tendency to shift their position and migrate in the direction of wind. This is due to the shifting of sand from the windward slope to the leeward slope. Now next we have type of sand dunes. Sand dunes are of three types. The first one is known as barchan. It is the most common type. It has crescent shape with horns extended in the direction in which the wind blows. It is mostly found in the deserts of Rajasthan. The second type of sand dune is called save dune, which is also known as longitudinal dune. In this type of sand dunes, long ridges of sand parallel to the prevailing wind are formed. These type of dunes extend for hundreds of kilometers in length with an average width of about 1 kilometer. These type of sand dunes are mostly found in the Australian, Libyan, the Sahara, Kalahari and Thar Desert. And at last but not the least, we have transverse dunes. These are the long sand dunes with a wavy ridge running along their length. These dunes are arranged in the rows that are parallel or side by side. They are made by wind carrying lots of sand. These sand dunes are formed usually in the regions where the wind is blowing almost constantly from a given direction. Now students, let's come back to our reading. The depositional work of the wind. The depositional work of the wind starts with its force or velocity, means speed declines or some obstruction like trees, bushes, forests, marshes, swamps, etc. come in the way of the wind. The fine dust particles are deposited in big masses or sheets known as loess, while the coarse particles are deposited in the form of hillocks known as sand dunes or hills of sand. Heaps of sand are generally called sand dunes, which are composed of coarser material and are located within the desert margins. The formation of sand dunes takes place when sand accumulates, means collects, in the form of low mounds due to the obstruction in the wind speed by some fixed obstacles. The sand mounds gradually grow in the height and length and finally became typical sand dunes, and this all we have already discussed. There is a great variation in shape, structure, height and length of the different type of dunes. The average height range between 10 to 20 meter while the length to about 2 to 5 kilometer, and as we have already discussed that it may go up to 150 to 300 meters. The windward slope of the sand dune is generally gentle while the leeward slope is steep. The sand dunes are generally formed in groups. The sand dunes, if not firmly fixed by the vegetation, have tendency to migrate, means to shift from one place to another in the direction of wind. The rate of dune migration varies from place to place. Sand dunes can migrate up to 30 to 40 meters per year. Planting of fast growing and deep rooted shrubs and the trees on the windward slope can prevent shifting the sand dunes. Dune migration can be harmful as vast areas of agricultural fields, human settlements, forests, etc. can be buried under the immense sand cover. The sand dunes are of three types according to their shape. Number 1, longitudinal sand dunes. Number 2, transverse sand dunes. And number 3, parabolic sand dunes or bar charts. The first one we have the longitudinal sand dunes. They are formed parallel to the direction of wind. They extend for hundreds of kilometers in length with the average width of about 1 kilometer. Longitudinal sand dunes are separated by the sand-free bare surface called hamad. They are found mostly in Australian, Libyan, the Sahara, Kalahari and Thar deserts. The next one is the transverse sand dunes. They are formed perpendicular to the direction of winds. They appear wave-like and are generally formed along the coast or the margins of the desert. The height of the transverse sand dunes in the Thar Desert of India varies from 5 meter to 25 meter. They are also found on the coastal areas of Australian desert. And the last type of sand dune includes the parabolic sand dunes or barchans. These are a special type of transverse sand dunes. A barchan also migrates like an ordinary sand dune. The sand-free corridors between the two ranges of barchan are used as karwa routes. Karwa is a group of people, especially traders, who move across the desert, especially in Asia and North Asia. Barchan is a typical sand dune with a crescent-shaped front having horns or wing towards the leeward side. Now students, with this we are ending up with our chapter. Please solve the related exercises and question answers and please keep exploring. Thank you.